Oh my God, it's a new year and it's still Grindhouse Chic. As always, I am your host, Robert Schneider, and with me are my co-host with the mostest. That made no sense. From deep in Ohio, Matt Armstrong, and from somewhere in Knoxville, Brian Baldwin. Guys, how was your New Year's Eve?
Mine was pretty low key. Had some family in town since they couldn't make it up for Christmas, and we kind of just hung out.
What are you talking about? I thought you said you were drunk when I was texting you.
Well, that's still pretty low key.
Yeah, I mean, you can be drunk low key. Yeah. I go to work drunk low key all the time. I'm just kidding. No, same here. We hung around the house. We just enjoyed some us time. I think I was asleep by like 11 at the latest. I fell asleep watching Piranha.
We're talking about the original one, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I think I probably had the most active New Year's Eve. I had a comedy show at the DC Comedy Clubhouse. Sorry, Matt, I was not at an orgy like I was telling you.
I was going to say it was definitely the most active then.
and then I went to a party, and somehow between the set and the party, the person I was with, she convinced me that I need to have a movie night over here. And that threw my anxiety up pretty fucking huge to figure out what two movies to show.
Well, Dead Heat.
No. No.
Yeah, I'm bringing that joke into the new year.
No, you know what? Vinegar Syndrome has apologized for releasing Dead Heat.
So we had a get together the week before Christmas. It was on the 17th, and had some Christmas horror set aside to play. And we watched a short film called Treevenge that my buddy Ben brought to the table. I had never seen it. It was so much fun, by the way. It's on YouTube. And then we went into Silent Night, Deadly Night 2. And I was going to go into Elves after that, and everyone was starting to get a little bit on the wrong side of tipsy. So I just sort of flipped the script and threw on Solo. That was
hold on. Rewind. You threw on Solo on Christmas? I'm Jewish. I don't celebrate Christmas. And there are some days you never watch Solo.
No, like several people wanted to watch it. I do have to say that like about halfway through the film, most people were checking out like, okay, but I was going to turn it off, but one of my buddies was like, he really, really wanted to watch that movie. I was like, okay,
Did you
the
follow
least
it up
drunk,
with a
so we'll
Serbian
finish it.
film?
No, that would have been fun.
Actually, Serbian film is easier to watch than Solo.
I agree 100%.
Oh. I feel gross. I was talking to Brian before you got here, Matt, and I watched Ghost Watch last night. First of all, for $20 at Amazon, it's well worth the pickup. I had no idea it came in a hard box and had all that shit with it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it yet.
It was, I wouldn't say it's a fun movie. And the first 45 minutes kind of drag because it feels like an actual news broadcast. And then when it just kicks in, it kicks in. It would be a perfect double feature with the WNUF Halloween special, which I have a feeling was heavily influenced by Ghostwatch.
Was it not Region B? Was that their first?
No, their
American
first Region
release?
A was the last broadcast.
Okay.
Which
I didn't get that one, and I don't really think I need to. I watched it.
I love that movie.
Really?
Yeah. Did it need a Blu-ray upgrade? No. No, but I couldn't find my DVD of it, so I bought it. And then I found my DVD of it. It was in the same box as Freddy Got Fingered.
As it should be.
Freddy Got Fingered needs a 4K. Criterion, go for it. Vinegar Syndrome, go for it.
Yeah.
So
someone had mentioned in the Vinegar Syndrome group about like when people were speculating what titles we were going to get at the beginning of the week, someone had mentioned that, and there were like, like 4 thumbs ups and hearts. I added a heart to it. Like, absolutely.
I
I
haven't.
think they said specifically VSU. They wanted a Freddy Got Fingered VSU.
I think that would be their biggest seller because it hasn't been available in nearly a decade. I mean, it is or was streaming on Hulu, but that's a movie that film collectors want to own, just like Young Einstein.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you guys haven't seen Young Einstein because
Oh,
otherwise,
dude, are you kidding me? Yahoo serious, my man. I love Young Einstein.
oh, that movie was it drags so bad.
Oh, dude.
I just remember MTV was so behind Young Einstein that he had a TV show on there for a while, and it sucked, except it had some really good musical acts. And one of them was XTC, who by that time had stopped touring because the lead singer, for some reason, was just his anxiety got to him where he couldn't perform live anymore. And they did a live set on there. I don't know if there was an audience, but it was pretty cool.
Have you seen it, Matt?
I have not.
Oh, dude,
I was actually
fantastic.
just searching for it to add it to my watch list.
The important
I used to have it on DVD. I don't think I have it anymore.
The Important Cinema Club just did an episode about him, and it got me waxing nostalgic for Yahoo series. I had no idea that he made 2 other movies after that.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, I thought he was a one-hit wonder, but then I was giving him too much credit for considering Young Einstein a hit.
Oh man, there's so many great one-liners in that movie that don't even deserve to be. It's just like the timing, like when he's checking into the hotel and the clerk's like writing down his info. He's like, "Want a room with a window?" And it's a stupid throwaway line, but for some reason I never forget it. I love it.
It sounds pretty good.
Hold on. Sorry, that's just so bad. So as we record this, it is subscriber week. What do you guys think of the VSA that was announced today? Ted Bundy, directed by Matthew
seen it
Broderick.
actually. Yeah,
I have too. I've seen it in the same case as Dahmer and the Gacy films that came out right around the same time.
Yep.
From what I remember, I like this one, and I like the Dahmer film, which starred a very young Jeremy Renner.
Mm-hmm.
But it just seems so
speaking
new.
Of, I just heard on the. I said, speaking of, I just heard on the way back from breakfast. He's apparently in like critical condition.
Yeah, I heard that too. They had to be helicoptered out of where he was in the accident he was in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got hit by a snowplow or something. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that delays season 2 of Hawkeye.
Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, Jeremy Renner. We want you to be a guest on this show. If and when VSA releases Dahmer. No, but it feels weird because that movie came out 2002, 2003, which I think is way too new for a VSA film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll be honest. I think I'm just most excited because I haven't seen it in a while, and it did kind of come as a surprise. I think there's definitely other titles that well, that was a stupid thing to say. There's other movies I could have been, but I'll pick it up. I'll pick that one up for sure.
What did you think of the new releases they announced?
I am going to now. Sidekicks was a favorite of mine when I was a kid. I am going to hold off because I don't think it'll sell out super quick. So I might even see if I can wait until half year, the halfway sale. I'm sorry, to maybe get that one. I am probably mostly excited about the Hong Kong set. I wasn't at all at first until I seen that they were horror films, and I was like, "Ooh, okay." Especially one of them was branded as the Hong Kong's answer to Friday the 13th or something. That
which is
came
the
out in
which is the only one I
1999.
have seen.
Really? Is it any good?
Now, to be fair, I saw it on a really shitty VHS bootleg of it.
Mhm.
I remember enjoying it. I was also really high and really drunk when I watched it because back then I
Yeah.
partied a lot. But my friend Porno Bart showed it to me, and I thought it was fun. I have not heard of
nice.
Erotic Nightmare or The Demon's Baby, but the trailer looked pretty good for both of them. What about you, Matt?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for that box set. I've been waiting to get From Beyond for a long time, but it was so expensive, so I'm glad to see that one on there.
I think that one's worth the upgrade.
Yeah.
I not to brag, but I did buy that when it came out from Screen Factory.
Yeah. With
Yeah,
the
I have
slip.
that one too. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just asking if you got it with the slip.
Yeah.
Yeah, they was selling for tons of money, and I was like, man, I don't want to pay this for that. And so I'm glad they announced this.
Yeah, I got it without the slip. I found it at a used store. I mean, I think I paid like $15 for it, maybe.
Mm.
But I love the movie, and I most likely will upgrade. I might not get it like immediately though. Hold off a little bit.
I don't think it'll sell out. I mean,
Well, not anytime soon, at least.
it's been like nothing from last year really, except for Thriller, sold out that quick.
Mm-hmm.
It's because they're printing so many of them. They're 5,000, 9,000.
Ooh, 9,000. Which one had 9?
I don't know. I'm just probably exaggerating.
Okay, gotcha.
But
I thought you'd be pretty excited for Frostbiter, Brian.
I am.
Like a Bigfooty movie.
Yeah, it seems pretty cool. I mean, I'm excited for that.
I had never heard of this one, but it had to be the word when it said it was from the snowy wilds of Michigan. I've been in the snowy wilds of Michigan, and it's scary without a Wendigo, which is Canadian for Bigfoot. But it's weird. This one feels like it would have been in a homegrown horrors pack.
Mm-hmm.
But
Can see that.
I'm also kind of excited about the Infernal Rapist. And only because Master Chaos hated it so much.
Oh, count me in then.
I kind of want to go on a rant against him. He posted this today, and it was a survey on YouTube that said, "Will you be subscribing to Vinegar Syndrome for 2023?" Exclamation question mark. And then because he hasn't been coy about this at all, I sure as hell won't. Here's the thing. Were you just talking about this label, about Vinegar Syndrome on your channel just for clout and to get their audience there? Or were you actually collecting because you were interested in the movies? And now that I believe they've reached a tipping point, you're against them. You're now like, all right, I'm going to be the first one to jump off this boat, even though I'll probably still buy titles if I like them.
Well, what was his purpose and not to, did he explain why he wasn't going to subscribe?
He said he wasn't enjoying the movies that they were releasing. And that's a very fair assessment. But when you keep on bringing up that you're not subscribing, there's something more to it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe his
I see what you're saying. Yeah, because he's definitely branded himself, I guess would be the way to put it, of like he keeps up with all these major boutiques and Vinegar Syndrome. Well, let me rephrase. I haven't watched his videos in a long time because he just drives me insane. But I think I know what you mean. Where it's he definitely has made himself known as like, oh, this guy knows a lot about Vinegar Syndrome titles. For him just to all of a sudden flip the script, it kind of seems like a little bit of like a marketing ploy. Is that, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't want to subscribe, don't subscribe. If you want to support another label, go ahead and support another label. You know what? There's so many great labels out there that are putting a ton of good movies out that there's no way you can buy something from everyone. And Brian, that's why, I mean, you said you're not subscribing. It's because you want to spend your money on the titles that you want, and that's a very fair assessment. And do I think all of Vinegar Syndrome's titles are great? Not at all. But this year there were more hits than misses, in my opinion. At least for me, like movies that I never would have bought that have become some of my favorites of the year.
yeah, I think it's fair to mention, like, without talking in circles, because I've discussed my whys and why nots for subscribing, but like, it is fair to say that there are so many movies in their catalog that had I not just kind of trusted in the label and blind bought them, I never would have seen. And that does worry me. Like, shit, am I going to miss out on some? But then, of course, you do have to have that internal conversation of, well, you don't always have to miss out on the film. You might miss that piece of fucking beautiful cardboard, but you can still get the movie without it later. And that's just an internal battle that I'm gonna have to deal with.
At the end of the day, the cardboard doesn't diminish how good a movie is. Like,
I know.
I was late to the Cauldron Films party. I did not hear of it. I didn't get the special edition of American Rickshaw. I got the standard edition. You know what? I still really like the movie. And at the end of the day,
that one in the slip, though, when you take it off the shelf, the disc actually like floats out of the packaging. It puts itself in the player. It's pretty good. Cauldron's ahead of the game.
I am really excited about City of the Living Dead.
So the pre-orders for that are done, right?
Yeah.
Like yeah, I missed it then. That sucks.
So I was going to ask you, Robert. It said last chance to get the pre-order pricing, and I pre-ordered it, and it was $50, and I was like, did I not get this pre-order pricing? Or
it was
is this
$49.
actually...
It was $49.99.
Yeah, whew. That's the special pricing.
But it's also 4 discs.
Yeah.
Oh, is it 4 discs?
Yeah.
What all is included?
You get the 4K, you get 2 Blu-rays, and you get a soundtrack. At least I believe that's what you get.
So 1 Blu-ray is for special features, I'm assuming, and then
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, much like Severance 4 Flies, I have a feeling this is the definitive edition of it.
Yeah.
Just like
I did see. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Just like Second Sight's Martin, which I still need to pre-order.
There is a. God, I wish I would have paid more attention. Last time we were at Grindhouse, someone put out. What is the name of the trilogy? Suspiria, 4 Flies, and then what's the other title?
Well, it's just 4 Flies isn't part of this. The 3. It's the 3 witches, but it's Suspiria, Inferno, and then Mother of Tears, or the Mother of Tears trilogy.
Okay, this one was marketed as something else, but anyway, it had that film on it.
It's the Animals trilogies, Bird the Crystal Plumage, the 9 Lives of a Cat. I can't remember the name of that one.
Cat of Nine Tails, or
Cat of Nine Tails, and then 4 Flies. I'm not a fan of Cat of Nine Tails. That's my least favorite one of that trilogy. But
gotcha.
Yeah.
Something we talked about last week, Robert. I know you said you weren't really looking forward to it, but what do you think about the VSL, Brian? You excited for that at all?
I'm interested in seeing what it is tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think that should have been the first thing they should have had a VSL on Sunday when they launched this thing, just so we have a better idea of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they're doing one tomorrow, and is it Friday? Isn't there 2 that they're...
No, tomorrow is the first VSL. Wednesday's Peakorama. Thursday's merch drop. Friday is VSL, and then Saturday's VSA, or the other way around. Mm-hmm. Or by the time that this episode comes out, you'll know what they all were, and you'll be like, "Man, these guys are far behind the time because they take their time in getting episodes up." Matt,
no more.
But no,
This one's going to be up before it's even over.
I'm excited about some of the releases that they've announced for next year. Let me pull it up because that's what I do. I pull things up. I am why is it at the bottom? I'm very excited about the 10th anniversary 10 film collection in May. And I think for next week's episode or a future episode that we fantasy program that 10 film collection.
So do you think it's going to be like older DVD releases upgraded to Blu-ray and, you know, kind of like a 5 films thing? Just
what I hope it is, it's a mixture of films that were previously on DVD and then pieces in their library that they own that they have not released yet.
So I saw a post today from a Vinegar Syndrome insider who said none of the 10 films are re-releases.
Well, that could be taken a variety of ways. Is it stuff that was already on Blu-ray? Probably not. And if it was not all right, so I think we have to go figure out this is stuff they probably already own and aren't licensing.
Yeah, I think it could either be that or like we were mentioning before, it could be like around like a new director filmography or something.
No. I think it'll be stuff that it has to be stuff that's already on DVD, especially if they're going to start phasing DVDs out at some point.
Yeah.
The other thing is if they're already mastered in 2K, there's not going to be any new work that goes into it. It's just putting them on Blu-ray.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm excited about that. I'm excited to see like pretty much what all the releases are. It does seem like the subscriber is getting less this year. It just seems like 3 releases per month, but it seems like we're getting a lot more box sets or multi-title sets.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and probably a lot more 4Ks, I would imagine.
Yeah. Though I bet you people would rather have more titles than 4Ks, especially for people who don't have a 4K TV or player.
Yeah.
Let's get right into it. Let's talk about a movie that I had no interest in watching because it sounded like complete and utter shit. But surprise, surprise, Blood Delirium was not shit. For those of you who don't know, Blood Delirium is about Saint Simon, a deranged and manic painter, believes that he is the reincarnation of Vincent van Gogh. When his beautiful wife dies unexpectedly, Simon suffers an emotional breakdown and insists that his necrophilic buster Herman help him remove her corpse from the cemetery and bring it back to his castle to help him retain his creativity. Placing the body on display inside of a hidden crypt. Still struggling with art, Simon soon meets a young woman named Sybil, who bears a striking resemblance to his late wife, and lures her back to the castle with the intention of making her into his new muse. Trapped inside, Sybil must find a way to escape the horrors taking place within the castle walls, as Simon has recently discovered that human blood may hold the key to unlocking his true creative potential. A sublime, twisted shocker from late 80s Italy, Sergio Bergonzelli in The Folds of the Flesh. Blood Delirium is a nonstop assault on good taste, with gut-pulling murders, graphic sex, and a whole host of other perversions. Starring John Philip Law from Danger Diabolique and Barbarella, Brigitte Christensen, Quiet Days and I can't pronounce it, Olinka Hardiman, Lingerie's Fine et Perverses, and sword and sandal star turned Eurosleeves character actor Gordon Mitchell, Emmanuel, Queen of Sados, in his most demented role of his lengthy career. Vinegar Syndrome was overjoyed to present the world Blu-ray debut of this twisted and stylish gem, newly restored in 2K from its 35mm original camera negative and presented in its fully uncut and uncensored version.
I think that covers it.
Amen.
So what got me with this film, within the first minute, there was nudity. And not just Brigitte is a very beautiful woman, but it was unnecessary nudity. She comes home, she gets undressed, we see her breasts and we see her little tattoo of the star on her arm as she starts setting the table for dinner. She talks to her husband on the phone, guy with black ponytail, about him coming home, and then she gets a weird message on the answering machine from herself, or so we think. Two flames is one, blah, 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 blah. You're going to die soon. And she keeps her composure while topless. Cut to a castle where we see a woman look like her dying in bed. We see her husband freaking out when she dies. Cut back to the house with the other woman's husband coming home and telling her the story. Then the wind blows in, the window open, and an advertisement for a art gallery opening. And just like nothing has happened, oh, we should go to this. And her husband having the most common sense of it. Why? We will not.
Yeah, that invitation wasn't for you.
And you know what? If she listened to her husband, none of this movie would happen. Then we see the funeral of the painter's wife. I guess she was also a pianist, much like Sybil was a pianist. And as the husband is doing something, we see our first inclination that something is not right with Herman. And he starts doing bad things to the corpse. Because he loves
I'm sorry. Yeah, I was so just like, like, what is happening?
I should tell you, this is also the first 10 minutes of the movie. If we have necrophilia in minute 10, what are we going to have in minute 15?
What we have is their relationship taking no steps back. They're just completely fine in the next scene. Like, oh, you just tried to rape my dead wife. Oh, we're cool.
Cut to some time later. The woman and her husband are driving on a leisurely drive in his Ferrari convertible. So I'm guessing they have a lot of money, because they really don't say what the husband does. Probably he was a model for romance covers, novel covers.
He was a world-class helicopter pilot.
Well, they do talk about buying a helicopter. And then she sees the art gallery and she decides to go in. She meets the artist. He is stunned of how much she looks like his dead wife. He invites her to go to his castle. She goes. Then
I do love in that art gallery scene where, like, you know, the painter is approaching her and he's like, just obviously, like you said, is kind of like smitten by her, taken by her. And like, I think before there's ever any dialogue about like who he is or why he's fascinated with her, she's like looking at one of the paintings and she's like, that looks just like me, which it doesn't really, in my opinion. But I just thought it was kind of funny. Like, yep, all right, here we go. Anyway, continue, Robert. I'm sorry.
All right. Then her car breaks down. And she has to stay there for an undisclosed period of time. And then during that time, when they go to get her car, Herman starts to rape a nearby girl who is just working. Yay,
Oh.
Herman.
She's the fine. What is it he says? She's the finest ass. Like, I can't remember exactly what he says, but it's so out of nowhere. He just like assumes this chick's gonna be okay with hearing this.
And then he says the most creepy thing ever, where when she's like, no, no, and hitting him, I'm just joking.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Oh, hold on. We forgot a whole major part of this. Before, at some point, the artist and Herman go to dig up the wife from her crypt, put a fake face on her maggot-ridden skeleton, bring her in by the piano where the artist plays a tape recording of her music, and then he, in his madness, he sees the corpse laughing at him.
Yes. He's trying to get his creativity back. He's lost his creativity since his wife has passed away. So he thinks that the corpse of her sitting at the table or
Piano, the piano.
While he plays Delirium is the name of the song that she is most famous for playing. Yeah, he thinks it's going to bring creativity back. I did want to mention one other thing before I forget it about the art gallery scene. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but does he not say, I'm going to Rome tomorrow. I want you to come with me. And that's why she goes to his house to begin with, is because she wants to take him up on the invitation. They never go anywhere. That plot just like it's there for a second, and then that's it. It's gone.
But for the longest time, they also forgot that she had a husband.
Okay,
maybe that's where the castle is. Maybe it's down in Rome.
Well, I didn't know where the movie took place. I thought it took place in Italy, but it turned out it takes place in France. I think they are not very clear on where it takes place. But does it really matter in a movie called Blood Delirium?
I thought it was Florida. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, there are so many Gothic castles in Florida. All right. So where was I? All right, they dug up. The car broke down. Herman goes to rape. She becomes the muse. Blah da la da. Then he realizes that he doesn't have the creativity still. Then Herman brings home and murders the woman that he tried raping. And then they take the blood out of her, and all of a sudden he is creative again. Then the Sybil finds a painting of someone who looks like her friend. She calls her to tell her that she is in trouble. Then they go pick her up in her car, in Sybil's car that is working. And I'm going to say this might be one of the greatest scenes in cinema history for more unnecessary, necessary nudity.
Okay.
Corinne was first barely wearing any clothes, and then we got to see her naked just so she could put on more clothes.
I was hoping for some sort of like showdown with this, because I mean she had the foresight to bring a gun, and then we just cut to the car rides over and she's dead.
Yeah. And then the husband kind of comes back into the picture. I'm going to tell you right now, we have spoilers going on right here. This whole thing is spoiler ridden. And he decides to go investigate, him and his luxurious ponytail.
It's the only time I've ever rooted for a man in a ponytail, I think. I'll
I
have
know,
to go
because
back and really
at the
think
beginning of
about
the
it.
movie, you thought that he was a douchebag because he had a ponytail and drove a Ferrari and knows how to pilot a helicopter, which was
Well, and also didn't believe his wife, who was in hysterics. He's just like, "Can you touch it? Can you feel it? You're dumb, woman." You're not
And
thinking rationally.
And also on the phone said he wanted to have dinner with benefits.
look, we all want to have dinner with benefits, dessert, and I'm not talking about a pastry.
Oh,
Unless
you ever been to Shoney's?
unless that's the euphemism that you call making the sweet love. All right. So then the husband gets the message from her friend, goes to the art gallery, finds out the exhibit is over. Then he has a helicopter and he goes searching the area of the castle, freaking Herman out. Then he comes in with the movers, breaks into the castle. By that point, the artist, the maestro, and Herman don't need Sybil anymore. So they start taking the blood out of him and his wife because he got caught. Then something supernatural happens. They're freed. And Herman and the maestro died together.
So was there something that I missed where you were talking about how the husband comes in with the movers? He's just like running alongside the truck and just they kind of slow down. He hops in, he's like, "Thanks," like almost like he's hitching a ride. But then these dudes are just like, "Oh, cool, he's gonna help us move stuff." I don't know, like some of that stuff just doesn't make any sense. Especially like when they're leaving and he notices Sybil's car. So everybody's like, "That's Sybil's car. That's Sybil's car." And he just like, they barely slow down at this point. He jumps out and rolls. It's like, what is his relationship with these movers?
Yeah.
He did what any of us would do in that situation. He got a job for a day.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
don't know. It was a weird plot point that was pretty much needed.
Yeah, I mean, he had to get in there somehow. He couldn't just land his chopper on top of the castle.
Actually, he could have.
Well, not undetected.
No, he was pretty much detected when Herman noticed him.
I do want to say that one of the most jarring things about this movie through its entirety is the dubbing. It's just like fucking quite atrocious. But I do love Herman's voice. Like, if he's not nasty enough as a character to begin with, it sounds like they found someone who like smoked 5 packs of Marlboros a day and like had a constant like phlegm in their throat, and they're like, "Hey, can you do this?" Yes, man.
I thought about watching the dub because I thought it would add some humor to it, but I watched the original.
Hold on. Since it's Italian, it was no matter which version you saw, it was dubbed.
Oh, just with different Italian actors?
Well, because in Italy back in the day, they never recorded sound. That all came afterwards.
So I read subtitles for no reason, just to get the original experience.
I always use subtitles anyway, but actually, because I remember Robert mentioning that on a earlier episode, I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll just watch it with the American dub," because a lot of times it is just funnier, you know.
Yeah.
I loved this movie. I was pretty tired when I watched it last night because I did not sleep very well on when I got home on New Year's Eve.
Because of the horrors that you experienced that night.
And I ate 2 fruit
This-
roll-ups, which was probably
the
more
shame.
sugar than I've had in a long time.
The shame of what you did at that orgy.
There was no orgy. It was an orgy of comedy at the DC Comedy Clubhouse. Come see me there in 2 Fridays, or the week this is released.
And apparently they have fruit roll-ups. So that's
No, I was at a party
big win.
afterward, and there
Oh,
was
man.
fruit roll-ups. I had fruit roll-ups and shrimp, and some devil,
No wonder. Golly, man. And some what?
and some deviled eggs.
Oh my god.
No,
The
I will
worst
never
trio
turn down
ever.
a deviled egg. Yeah, it is quite the combination.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, where was it? No, I love this movie. It was a non-stop barrage of bad taste. I'm gonna read my review of it from Letterboxd because I think it was brilliant. This movie is completely and utterly bonkers. First of all, there was nudity in the first 10 minutes of the movie. You have John Philip Law overacting in every scene he's in. You have more nudity. You have Marco Di Stefano looking like he stepped off the cover of a romance novel. He drives a Ferrari and helicopter with ease. More nudity. And you have a rapey, homicidal, cannibalistic, necrophile butler. And more nudity. This movie has something for everybody.
Yeah, I was
would agree
pretty
with that.
surprised by it. One thing I really appreciated it is usually when we watch these, I'm like taking notes. I usually have questions that are never answered in the movie, but this one, every time I wrote a question down, it was on top of it, just answering it right away. Like at first, we were in Sybil's apartment, and then we cut to the castle, and I was like, are we like going back between timelines here or something? And then it explained it in the next scene at the art gallery. I was like, okay, cool, this is happening all together. Then I was like, is this guy supposed to be Vincent Van Gogh? And then it explained that. I was like, okay, cool, okay.
No. And that was, that's why I wasn't interested in it, because it made it sound like the whole Vincent Van Gogh thing was a major plot point.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was a minuscule plot point.
Yeah.
How did he have enough money to afford a Gothic castle like that?
I don't know.
I think he just really dug into the whole yeah, I'm the reincarnation of Van Gogh. So he's probably just really
Well,
upcharging.
hold on. If he was the reincarnation of Vincent Van Gogh, he would be living in poverty, because that guy during his time was not appreciated and was pretty much broke his entire life.
Mhm.
He did not live in a castle. It wasn't until after his death did people realize that he was a genius. So he was not living that lifestyle.
Maybe he inherited it.
They really should have explained it more. And why was he called Maestro?
I was about to ask that, the
Yeah.
Maestro thing. Yeah.
I mean, it would have made more sense if he was a composer than a painter, but then you would have no use for the blood paint.
But his painting technique was very composer style. That was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. It's just and when he got the blood paint, those were like the worst paintings of all time.
They really weren't good. No.
They'd
He
be
went
worth
downhill.
if that was real, they'd be worth a fortune today.
I also thought it was really funny, like the Delirium tape that, now I guess it could be, maybe it was recorded in the studio and he just had it on tape. But he'd always just listen to his wife, but whenever he played that tape, you've got percussion and shit going on and all this, all these different instruments, and it's like, what? It's a little bit sounded like a fucking what's that one group, the Steamroller? They always do like the Christmas
Mannheim Steamroller.
Mannheim Steamroller.
That didn't bother me, but what I don't understand, was his wife a concert pianist as well as Sybil, or was she just, did she just play piano for shits and giggles? Because it seemed like Sybil was a concert pianist.
Mm-hmm.
And if they both were, wouldn't have somebody mentioned, hey, there's another pianist who looks just like you?
Yeah, I didn't really think about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's
Now-
almost as if they didn't think this entire plot through.
They did not. They did not. But it was such a fun film.
It was, yeah.
I think I had more fun watching this than, that's not true. I like the last 2 months of VS titles have all been pretty much bangers. And this one is just this film epitomizes everything that I love from VS. It had sleaze, it had murder, it had reprehensible characters, it had bad dubbing that still was awesome, and it had a plot where you had no idea where it was going because it seemed like they were making it up as they filmed it.
Another thing it had was those weird lights. What was that? Were those like
that was the
those
spirit
ghosts?
of his dead wife.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the only thing I could think too. Was it seemed to me like more of a, they put it in there just because like, oh, I can do this cool little thing here. Just, they were showing off a little bit.
Yeah.
Had a little bit of extra money laying around. Show
Oh
off.
shit, we got to put some ghosts in here.
Yeah.
So one aspect of it that I was going to get your guys' opinion on, do you think so Sybil goes to the castle, and she pretty much immediately seems like she's ready to forget her husband exists, if that's her husband. I don't remember if he was or not, but do you think like when this is all said and done with, she's gonna tell Gerard that she's like, yeah, I went there voluntarily, or do you think she's gonna go with the whole I was kidnapped and forced to stay there?
Well, here's the
That's a
thing.
good question. I mean, go ahead, Robert.
I think she was going to go there and bone the maestro. That was it. I think she was going to have an affair and be done with it. Because it seemed like, if I recall correctly, they actually kissed at one point, right?
I think so. Yeah, when
Yeah.
when he made her put that dress on.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, to me, I was kind of getting the feeling that like it's her making these decisions, but almost because she's like being guided by this force. It's almost just like, what is this? She's kind of being guided by something stronger than herself. I don't.
Guided by the light.
By the power of love.
I want to talk about Herman's
fucking castle. Who's got money?
I want to talk about Herman's museum.
That thing was nice.
The fact that the maestro tolerated it. This guy's he keeps my secrets, I keep his secrets. And then he gave the reason why Herman is in this employ because his wife took pity on him or something to that extent.
Yep. Yeah, his whole character is just detestable. I mean, he literally, his job is to wait on this dude hand and foot and run around the village raping them. That's his job. That's what he does.
Fun fact, that guy was an American actor.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. I did my research. I did my research. I went to IMDb afterwards and looked some stuff up.
That counts.
Yeah. I did not watch any of the special features because I was pretty tired by the time and burnt out from watching movies. But oh my god, this movie was fantastic. How many rapey, homicidal, cannibalistic, necrophile butlers would you give this movie, Brian?
I'm with you. There's really not much I can say about it outside of what you did. I do think that this embodies everything that I like about Vinegar Syndrome. Um, aside from the couple of plot holes and stuff, 4.5. I'd go 4.5 on this one.
Okay.
I think
Nice.
it's a great time.
Matt, how many rapey, homicidal, cannibalistic, necrophile butlers will you give this?
Yeah, kind of same thing you guys said. I really enjoyed this. I didn't know what I was going into, but I liked the idea behind it of, you know, um discovering that blood is the color you've been missing your entire career. So I thought that was a pretty cool take and story on it. I went a little lower. I went 3.5. But yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Nice.
I'm just gonna say 3.5 Hermans because I don't know what all that was you just said.
You know what, Matt? Because you don't pay attention, I am
Crazy, homicidal, necrophilia.
I will give this movie 4 rapey, homicidal, cannibalistic, necrophile butlers.
I was close.
And
Yeah,
I think next year or at the end of this year, when we do our best Vinegar Syndrome release of the year, we will have one called the Herman for the sleaziest film of 2023.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah.
But
Unless
no,
someone sleazier comes along.
I think he's I think it would be either him or Jamie Gillis, but we haven't seen Jamie Gillis in a film for a while. But I really enjoyed this movie, and I've seen it on a lot of other people's top 10, and I'm like, it just sounded so stupid. But no, this was so much fun. I'm glad it was one of the first movies I watched in 2023.
Nice.
So I have to ask
Wow.
you guys, before we end today's episode, what is a movie you desperately want to see released in 2023? It doesn't have to be from Vinegar Syndrome. It can be from any label
Soul Man done.
besides Soul Man, because that movie's racist.
I just wanted to say something real quick. I looked on my letterbox to put my score in for this movie. I could have swore I was watching like a 70s Italian horror that entire time. This movie is from 1988. Does that seem crazy?
I didn't even look at the year. Yeah.
No, it seemed so. Last week, Brian, you were here. I watched what the fuck is the movie called?
So angry.
Sorry. I watched the Andy Milligan film that Severance putting out in an individual piece, Legacy of Blood, which is basically just a remake of the Ghastly ones. But what made me cringe is the movie came out in 1978, the same year as Halloween, but seemed like it was made 20 years earlier. This movie seemed like it was a 70s movie, but it still had that 80s vibe of just, you know what, everything's been done before, so let's turn it up to 11.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. That's a good way of putting it.
But no, I mean, this movie is the reason that I love boutique labels. They'll put out films that I've never heard of before, and I just come off watching them thinking that my film going experience is so much better than somebody who's just watched Top Gun Maverick for the 9th time. By the way, I almost started watching it on Paramount Plus, but I realize I still haven't seen Top Gun and don't know if I'll be affected by it if I.
Yeah, you need to see them both.
I'm not going to.
That settles that. All right.
because that movie was greenlit during Trump's America.
It's true. That's true.
For discs, I hate to sound like a broken record because we all bring it up so much, but truly, Freddie Got Fingered. Like, it's not even a joke to me. Like, I want a nice disc of that. I will be specific, and again, not to keep hash on something, but I really am keeping my fingers crossed for hopefully a VSU of Over the Top this year. I just think that would be awesome. But again, I am pretty specific on that. I would like the really nice packaging and you know the extra goodies with it.
Here's the thing: I've heard that one has been bandied around. Like, a lot of people have mentioned it.
Really
So it wouldn't surprise me if that comes out in May or November.
nice.
Yeah, especially after seeing them grab something like Roadhouse, I can see them.
Yeah, it just seems to be not at all out of the question. You know, I mean, Sidekicks. You know, granted, I love that movie, but I mean, I never in my wildest dreams would have thought that would have been coming out.
I was really shocked to learn that the kid from Sidekicks killed himself in 2003.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yep.
Yeah, it floors me. It floors me. I do want to say I never said a movie I would like to see released. It was I too would like to see a deluxe edition of Freddie Got Fingered. Fudge, I don't know. This is hard. Like, I have thought of so many films that
I have to go back and look, but I know that I would like, my first one that kind of brought me to Vinegar Syndrome was Beastmaster, so I think it'd be cool to get a couple of more of those from Vinegar Syndrome, kind of like how they brought the Scanner Cops. Maybe do like a little box set of some additional Beastmasters.
They don't have the rights to 2 and 3.
I've never even seen the sequels. Have you guys seen them?
I've seen 2.
Like forever ago, yeah.
All right. So I mean, I posted. So some of the movies I would like to see released is Hollywood Man. I would love this to be a VSU, The Adventures of Ford Fairlane. Andrew Dice Clay's greatest movie of all time. You guys don't sound like you're digging that one.
I'm not familiar.
Yeah, I don't think
I'm just being honest. Yeah.
I'd like to see the Ilsa movies, which I know won't happen. PCU, which I also know won't happen because I guess Disney now owns it. And that's probably it.
There's one that I've been wanting to see for a while. I just loved it when I was a kid, and it's kind of got like a Freddy Got Fingered, or not Freddy Got Fingered, Drop Dead Fred kind of era about it. But with the recent appeal of his court cases, it could happen. But I would really like to see Ghost Dad, a good release of Ghost Dad.
No. No. Actually, there's one I know I would like to see. I know Vinegar Syndrome owns it. It would be a Peakorama film. It's called Sexcapades. And what's brilliant about it is that it's about a former porn director turned documentarian who's forced back into porn because of money, filming a porno in his house. And then at some point, the worlds kind of collide where you don't know what's the film and what's not the film.
Sounds interesting. I did just think of one, but as soon as I thought about it, now I know. Oh shoot! Okay, so Deadly Spawn, isn't Synapse putting that out on 4K?
Probably.
I think so, and I can't remember if it actually had a legit Blu-ray or if it was a bootleg. Either way, I really want to watch that movie. I know it was available for a little bit on one of the streaming services.
It was
and
on
it may
Shudder.
still. Was it? Is it? I need to check and see if it's still on there because I've always wanted to watch that movie.
Well, maybe you will in 2023. Oh, and of course, Future Kill. Someone needs to release Future Kill.
Not familiar with that one either.
Ooh,
You should.
one I just thought of. I think it'd be a good VSA. If you guys remember this, it had Emilio Estevez, and I think the bad guy was Mick Jagger. I believe it was called Free Jack. Did you guys ever see that?
I've seen Free Jack. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
I see that
that
more
could
as a
be a good-
VSU than a VSA.
it could be.
Yeah.
You guys have any guesses for what the next Scream Factory 4K port will be?
I don't care. Scream Factory hasn't released anything good in a while, new. So yeah, I don't know. They've lost my interest. As
Yeah.
kind of like Blue Underground. They just are relying on their old library.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when Scream Factory started, they were so unique among it because they were using slip covers. There was a uniform look to all of their films, and they were releasing like video store dream titles. And now it seems like they've lost the rights to a lot of films, and other labels are putting them out in better editions.
Yeah. Wonder if they'll kind of start to, once they upgrade everything they can to 4K, I wonder if that's kind of it.
But do all these titles need to be upgraded to 4K?
I mean, as much as I agree with you on that, I mean, it's the thing right now. And I think if companies want to stay afloat, they have to keep it in mind. Yeah.
I don't know, man. Because things on Blu-ray still look good as on 4K TVs.
No, I agree.
And sometimes it's just very minimal of what the difference is minimal.
I will say we watched the Poltergeist 4K last night. I thought that looked fantastic. That was really, really pretty.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think if it's something on film and they're gonna remaster it right, then I mean I'm all for it. But if they're just gonna slap something on there and just to put a 4K out, then I don't think it needs to be done.
I mean, I think the upgrade from the Blu-ray of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 to the 4K was phenomenal. But then again, if Shout Factory or Scream Factory put that one out, I probably wouldn't have bought it.
You probably would not have.
No, I mean, it's not a movie I like it. I don't love it. But like Thriller was a no duh for me. I would have upgraded if I didn't have a subscription in a heartbeat. And the package for that just looked beautiful.
Sure.
But I don't know. I will say I do agree with Master Chaos about one thing. I think there is a bubble to the boutique labels, and I think it's gonna burst in 2023. I think you can't have labels putting out stuff at price points that some of the things are.
Like when you say it's gonna burst, what do you mean? You think people are gonna stop buying, or you think
I think people are gonna stop buying.
Okay.
I mean, let's take a look at Four Flies. When Severin puts out there that this is only available during this sale, and then we'll probably see it during the other sales. That's just code for this film will never be discounted. So why? I mean, if you're just a casual horror lover who likes Argento but doesn't love Argento, that price point is never going to be worth it for you.
Right.
And I mean, Vinegar Syndrome has started upping their MSRPs. So again, is like a VSA that's MSRP $45 actually worth $45? No. It was why I was so shocked about the 101 Films release of Ghostwatch, because for under $20, even though it was a Blu-ray, not a 4K, it was still probably some of the best packaging I've seen in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to start thinking, why am I spending $50, $60 on something when I can get 2 movies for the same price?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how I see it. On one side, it seems like a bubble burst could happen, but on the other side, it just kind of seems like the hobby and the industry is picking up a lot. So I don't know.
I mean, you're not wrong, but look at something that's interesting this month. When you looked at the partner label for January, how many of them excited you?
I think there might have been one. Let me go to him here.
Only one excited him, but he ordered 3 of each.
Well, I didn't order any of them yet, but I'm excited for the Umbrella one, Undead, and then the Agfa one.
I just ordered the Agfa one.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, I didn't look too much into the other ones yet.
But I mean, look at it. Like usually when you go to the partner labels, there's 1 or 2 that like, holy fuck, I need to buy that.
Mm-hmm.
There was none of that this month. And it just seemed like Vinegar Syndrome was stacking their own titles above the partner label stuff.
Right. Yeah.
But again, eventually, as we talked about last week, they are going to cannibalize one side of the business with all of the releases that they're doing. Like, okay, prices are going up on these. Do I want to buy a VSA, VSL, VSU, or do I want to buy an AGFA Culture Shock Fun City Edition?
Mm-hmm.
And Matt, no offense, they are looking for more customers just like you who will blind buy everything. Then
Yeah.
It's a no-win situation because their expansion is too great. And in my mind, some of it is really unnecessary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens with all the labels, really. I feel like seems kind of like Arrow's kind of switching their direction a little, kind of less releases, but more mainstream stuff. So
but there's something about Arrow that we're forgetting. Arrow does get shelf space in certain stores. Some of their titles you can find at Best Buy. They do get shelf space in Barnes and Noble, and in Europe they're pretty much everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're owned by a big corporation. Like, I don't say Zavvy's a big corporation. They're owned by, they have money behind them, much like
Sure.
Criterion.
Yeah.
I know Vinegar Syndrome gets shelf space in some stores, but it's and so does Severin. Like, you can find Severin titles at Barnes and Noble, but it's the companies that have deals that allow them to have their titles released to the general public are ones that are more likely to survive than ones that are just direct to customer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what happens throughout the year.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens when some of the partner labels start going out of business.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's the one like ETR Media? I feel like they haven't. I think they might have just put one out, but they're one that puts out, one a year.
Or
So
Pulse, which puts out, at least in America, 2 to 3 movies a year.
Mhm.
But we will see. We will see.
Yeah.
And then you're also forgetting, like, the Vinegar Syndrome is having all their, they have what, 5 sales a year now. They have Subscriber Week, then they have Valentine's Day, then Half Year, then what was the one that they had in October or September?
Yeah, what was
Can't
that?
remember.
Yeah, I don't remember what that was. It was just
Movies
a
they
chunk. It
own.
was just a chunk of, yeah.
But they had special releases for that as well.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like wasn't that one also adult films
Yeah,
only?
isn't that when the Taboo box set came out? Or
Yeah, right. I'm pretty sure.
yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
it was something about like the Vinegar Syndrome vault or something.
Yes, all the stuff
Mhm.
that they owned.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had Black Friday, and then you have partner label months, which we talked about last week, Brian, that we think they should just stop. They shouldn't sell anything in December at all.
You just shut the site down completely.
Just get the orders out and give people breathing room. I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
You had Black Friday, then you had Black Friday, which was Black Friday. Then you had partner label month, which was a week after that, and then you had Subscriber Week. And you know what? A lot of people who probably would have bought a subscription in November probably spent more because that subscription wasn't available.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. That would actually be smart. Just shut it down, let people recoup, and then it wouldn't be so outside of the realm of possibility for more people to subscribe in January. Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like we need to start our own label, guys. We'll just yeah.
All right. Well, before we go, if you were going to start a label, what movie would you release? And don't say Freddy Got Fingered or anything else that you've already said. What movie would you release on your own label?
That's not fair.
Mm.
And what would be the focus of your label?
Boy.
This might have to be something saved for next week. I would have to give some serious.
Do you have
thought
something
to
just
it.
off the top of your head, Robert?
I do. I mean, my focus would be on films that never got a traditional DVD or Blu-ray release before. My first movie I would release is a concert film called Dance Craze. It was all about the two-tone ska bands. You can watch it on YouTube. It's a really wonderful film, but I'm guessing music rights have just kept that one off of everybody's radar. But that's what
Yeah,
I
I don't
would.
know.
That's what I would release. It's just a really obscure stuff. I think I'd be like Fun City.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have
Oh,
to think
I
about
actually
that one.
I wanted to mention something. I know we got to get off here, but I just thought this was really interesting and something that we've discussed briefly before. Um, I don't think you guys follow Red Letter Media's YouTube channel as
I
much as
do.
I do, but they okay. Did you
I
see their
subscribe.
most recent video?
Haven't seen it.
It's wonderful, and I'll make this really brief. They basically made a 30-minute video around the VHS collecting craze that's happening right now and talking about how people are getting their VHS tapes graded. And is any of this really worth value, or is it just this thing has just sort of exploded? And they were mentioning there was a VHS copy, sealed original release of Back to the Future that sold for $75,000 in auction. So to cut to the chase of the video, they go through all this and they have their opinions on it. I'll leave it up to you guys to watch the video to see what they have to say. Well, for those who have followed Red Letter Media for a long time, there's always been kind of a long-running joke in that channel where people send them VHS copies of this movie from, I think it's 1993. I could be wrong on the date, but somewhere in that vicinity. It's called Nuki. Okay, it's a PG, like, science fiction family kind of. It looks ridiculous. I've never seen the film, but anyway, they owned. It was either 110 or 111 copies of Nuki on VHS, and they would just have it up. They just had them all on this wall. So what they did, they found the one that was in the best condition, sealed, with the cover and everything, best looking one, and they were like, "We're going to get this graded, but before we do, we're going to take every other copy that we have of Nuki and throw it through a wood chipper, and that way we're going to diminish the amount of copies that exist of Nuki." And we're going to get, so they got this tape graded and they put it up on eBay and said, "We're going to take 100% of sales and we're going to divide it between two charities." I looked at the bid on that yesterday. It's still got like 4 days to go, but it was over $75,000.
Wow.
On that note, send us copies of your VHS tape. And don't forget to hit subscribe and
That's
like and
nuts.
share with your friends.
I've got a quick announcement too before we jump off.
Okay.
I'm running the 2023 Vinegar Syndrome Challenge on Letterboxd this year. So I'll leave a link down there for it if anyone wants to jump in it.
Tell us what this is.
It's just
you're running it.
I am volunteered for this.
Okay.
I took over for the person who posted it last year. They just weren't able to get it out this year, so I said I would helm it. But yeah, it's just 52 prompts, 52 movies, one for every week. You can watch it as fast as you want, kind of stuff. So yeah, just some cool prompts on there. One of them is to watch and review one of the movies that we have watched and reviewed. So they'll have to come check out the page and
Ooh.
so I'll leave a link down there for that, and if anyone wants to jump in it.
Yeah, we need viewers.
Wonderful.
Yeah. All right, people, we will be back. Oh, what are we going to watch next week? What are we going to talk about? Which movie are we going to discuss?
Already got fingered.
Nope.
Just kidding.
Man, I feel like I had one. And it's gone.
You could do Sworn to Justice.
Yeah. So we haven't done a VSA in a while.
Yeah, let's see.
Or we do the last Culture Shock that came out. Not the last one that came out. The one that came out in October or November. The Ginger Lynn Wings Hauser Classic.
Let me see what it is.
I know Brian ordered it. I know I ordered it.
Yeah. Mind, Body, Soul.
Mind, Body, and Soul. I've got that. Okay.
All right. Next week we will discuss Mind, Body, and Soul.
Perfect.
Yay.
Because
have you guys seen it?
I've seen it, yeah.
Okay. All right, just me.
Yeah.
All right.
I did learn that
forward
Wings.
to a
You know what?
rewatch.
Well, next week I will give some astounding Wings Hauser facts.
Okay.
So we will see you next week. And again, subscribe, like, comment, share. And which one of us would you get, girls, if you have a female audience, like to make out with us? I don't know. Which one of us is the dreamiest? Feelings will be hurt if it's not me.
I was about to say, I think you're the eligible bachelor here. So
Yeah. All right, guys, we will see you next time.